Namaskaram, Swagatam. Welcome to viewers from all over the world. Today we have an interesting topic. As all of you know, the Ministry of External Affairs of the current government has admitted that China has occupied extensive land in the India-Chin area and other parts, and they have now established counties. And we're going to talk about that. It's an explosive thing. Earlier, they've said that nobody has come in or gone, no koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi, which is a blatant lie. We're going to talk about that. And Dr. Swamy has, in fact, filed a case in the courts as well to get some information on this. But all along, they've denied it. But we're going to hear a little bit more on that. We're going to discuss about three things. Okay, essentially, what is the main topic? Has PM Modi failed to protect India's national interests, internal and external? So when we talk about external, one part is that then again, China has occupied some part and established villages in Arunachal Pradesh. We're going to talk about that. And finally, what is happening in Manipur, how the Koki militants have started attacking the Indian army. And sadly, what the Home Ministry is doing, the situation is getting out of control and nothing has been happening. But the PM is busy doing campaign in Delhi. Not one word has come out about the situation. So this is what we have for today. So we're going to talk about this. So Dr. Swamy, it's over to you to start the first topic, that the MEA has accepted that China has occupied and have established counties there. So we start with that and then we can go to the next one after we get the discussion over. Thank you.
Well, I will begin with just the point you made and then work backwards. The MEA spokesman was directed to hold this press conference, according to knowledgeable sources with whom I have access in the External Affairs Ministry, is because the fear that the Delhi High Court might indeed order that a proper investigation take place, and which will blow it up in the event the government continues to maintain that there's nothing has happened. There's no, as Modi said, koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi, that sort of thing. So now in the courts, the court has very clearly asked the ministry, just tell us whether the Chinese have crossed the Indian line, which was mutually agreed between the two countries in 1996. So I would say that itself is a major achievement for us in the field of forcing the government to come this far. But the issue is that the Prime Minister told us a lie, that nobody has come and nobody is gone. And this is something which was contradictory to what a lady officer of the External Affairs had warned us in April of 2020, that the Chinese are gobbling up our territory, which is not disputed territory. And she was dismissed. She was transferred to some other part of the MEA. And the country was continued that, that I'm making big propaganda. In one sense, what helped me a lot in spreading this amongst the public was the fact that till that time of 2020, Mr. Amit Shah was going around saying that I was in league with the Chinese, and that he will produce all kinds of files to circulate around. And of course, he was made fun of by the Sangha leadership. And so the matter never even reach the newspapers. But they were very, very keen to say that I was actually one amongst the friends of the Chinese. But actually what happened is that my friendship with the Chinese helped me to know the truth, and which is that China had crossed the mutually agreed line of control and occupied all this territory, and they were gradually doing this step by step. And now they have come not from Arunachal. This story is not about Arunachal anymore. Arunachal has already been all done. And now they have crossed in and started taking Ladakh. And that's serious because Ladakh has road connections, very broad roads which lead you to Kashmir and from there to other parts of India. So what I'm saying is that Mr. Modi has been derelict as far as these duties concerned. He has betrayed the country. He has told lies about it, and he kept saying this koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. And the fact of the matter is now, with the matter being in court and to come out, the External Affairs Ministry, the officials got very nervous, and finally they were allowed to make this statement. So this statement now clearly shows that the Chinese are aggressors on undisputed Indian territory. And the real question that we have to now ask is, what are we going to do? Of course, in my opinion, we've got to fight and show to the world that the Chinese can be defeated. And it may take a year, may take 2 years, whatever. But you have to make new alliances which help you to get the necessary weapons and so on, and background support. And for that, we will have to have some kind of a relationship which is solid with the United States and Israel. These these two countries are ones which will come without any restrictions. They will come to help India, and they consider us as a democratic country, and therefore all the more they would do that. And therefore we have to do a whole lot of new things which Mr. Modi is incapable of. And I think I would say that after this statement of the External Affairs Minister official, I think Mr. Modi should tender his resignation and say, I have failed, and therefore somebody else should now take over the prime ministership's position. This is what I feel has to be the outcome of what is happening.
Swamy, a quick follow-up question. So what happened when Modi went to Russia? They said they had a meeting with China, they had a deal made, they signed an MOU or signed agreement. What happened to that, Dr. Swamy? It seems to be a total lie, right in the face to Modi, and he has lied to the entire country. So what happened to that agreement? According to the agreement, they were supposed to pull back. Now they are saying, no, we are not pulling back. Instead of not only pulling back, we're establishing counties there.
Well, they obviously have told a lie, because there was no confirmation from either the Russians or the Chinese. In fact, they ignored it, that even this matter was discussed. So they thought they can fool the Indian people, but you can fool some of the Indian people all the time, some of the people some other time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. So that's the situation as far as it goes, and it is something that they thought they can get away with it, and that nobody will question in India. And anyone who opens their mouth, they will try to slander him, which they did try with me, but didn't work.
And the other question, Dr. Swamy, unfortunately, the so-called fourth estate is in deep slumber. Nobody in the media seemed to raise this question, saying that, hey, this is something that has happened. Somebody has to be held accountable. Some secretary level person comes and announces, not the MEA, not the Home Minister, not the Defense Minister, not even the Prime Minister. The top 4 leaders are not saying a single word about it. I mean, are they just taking people for granted, Dr. Swamy? They're just treating this whole issue as a non-issue.
No, they think that, as far as the media is concerned, what you're saying applies to a few of the newspapers like Hindustan Times or Times of India. But I would say the others who are tongue-tied and whom I know personally, they say that we have been told that if you do not act according to our directives, we will close down all the media, things that they publish in the newspaper of the various companies and so on, in which they make a lot of money. In fact, no newspaper will last if they don't get advertisement revenue, and the advertisement revenue is provided by government also, as well as by the, for companies, and each of the newspapers are told that if you don't follow our direction, then we will tell these companies, and certainly the government companies will obey automatically, not to give you any advertisements at all, and that would mean that the newspaper will have to close down. Now, I don't know. Ramnath Goenka was there. Was a man in the emergency. He said, "Let it close down the the Indian Express. I don't care, but I will fight." And that's the kind of stuff is now there no more in our elite in India.
Dr. Swamy, another follow-up. Arvindji, before you jump in.
Yeah, before you raise the new issue, let me just add to what Dr. Swamy said. Dr. Swamy, there's one newspaper house in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh which has multiple editions. This newspaper house, I'm not naming it deliberately, they tried to go against the establishment, and their offices were raided by income tax and ED again and again. And ultimately, they had to follow the path which was shown to them by the government. So that is the arm twisting also, which is also part of it.
That's right. I would also add that Jai Shankar and Dowal, they both must be prosecuted and sent to jail for having violated India's national interests. You see, they shouldn't have kept quiet. They are supposed to be officials who are supposed to inform the Prime Minister and the ministers about the nature of the national security, but they were acting as chapdasis. In fact, for getting Modi an invitation to attend our Donald Trump's the oath-taking ceremony, the foreign secretary went all the way, and the American foreign secretary, or what this calls the Secretary of State, he said, "I won't meet you because this has got nothing to do with my area of business. That is, I only deal with
administration.
I only deal with matters of which involve international affairs. But this is somebody getting an invitation. I'm not going to be to meet you. So sorry, I can't meet you." So then going to meet some protocol chap and got a no from him also. And till now, no yes for Mr. Modi.
So, Dr. Swamy, for the benefit of you, many viewers who joined us relatively new, quickly, in a very short way, what parts of India has China occupied? Essentially, the new ones. And to the second part, what is mentioned in the screen? Why is the military quiet, Dr. Swamy? Why are they handicapped? This is another question coming from multiple people. Because even in as much in sometime last year, in April, when the annual conference of the DGIG heads, they presented a paper saying 26 patrolling points were lost out of the 65. So there is enough evidence out there, Dr. Swamy, that the land has been occupied. And unfortunately, why is the military, in what way is it constrained? And even recently, one of the army or one of the defense chiefs came out and say, we are still working with MiG-21s and archaic machines, and we don't have the right equipment. And you always brought this issue out time and again.
Now, first of all, on the last question about we don't have, that's precisely why you should say that this is the crisis we are having, and the nation has to now set aside money to get new aircrafts and new battleships and etc. etc. So that couldn't be an argument. But I would say this, that the military is supposed to be very disciplined, and we have a very long tradition of not keeping the military out of the civil service and out of the normal political situation. We don't want any military people to get a taste of ruling the country and cause a coup or something like that. So the military has been always very strictly handled by the civil service to see that they don't interfere. If one of them had even spoken on this while being in the military, he would have been immediately court-martialed. So therefore, I think it's still, I would say, in the national interest they should speak up, but I don't think the time is right for that yet. I think more importantly is you should go after the civil service, because they can easily put up files to say that this is so, and we have to do this and this. And none of them have done anything of the kind in any of the ministries. They have just licked the boot of Mr. Modi and his foreign minister.
What about briefly, Dr. Swamy, what territories have China occupied recently, not the old one?
Well, they have taken all the parts which go over the mountains of Arunachal and come up to the plains, and so that means that tomorrow if they want to take over the whole of Arunachal, it's very easy, because now they have to only go on the plains. Fighting on the mountains is a very tough thing. The other thing is, what is new is Depsang there's a river, and that river is after you cross from Arunachal and then cross those two, that small country, which you Bhutan, yes, you cross that and then come across just before Nepal, you have a connection between the Chinese area and the Indian area, which is, once you cross the mountains of that Chinese area, you have a flat land which takes you all the way to Western India. And so I think this fact that today we are being told that there's the developments which have been told of is causing a very big concern in the military, because now they are on a flat land and they are setting up houses and they are setting up people to stay there, and we are not in a position to go. We are not in a position which we have not told our military to prepare and go and evict them
back.
Yes, drive them back. Yes, by evicting them. And it's a very. I think Modi has just got chicken. I'm telling you, every little fact that I hear from inside of the government convinces me that Modi is chicken, and he's sending people here and there to see whether they will support and fight for them. Fight with the Chinese for us. Why should they do it? Because you're not an ally. So you have been playing all kinds of sides, sometimes going to Russia, sometimes going to China, sometimes going to America. I mean, nobody's going to be your side. They will think it's like we have in Panchatantra, the bat, which went on both sides, and ultimately both sides picked up against you.
Dr. Swamy, one last question. What is the status? Because you have filed a case in the court.
Yes.
Because precisely the reason the government has failed to give you an answer to find out how much a territory has China occupied. We know through unofficial, some 24,000, 42, some numbers are floating around for square kilometers, correct?
Yeah.
So what happens? So doesn't this admittance by this external affairs bureaucrat actually basically give you credence to the case and say now they have to decide? So what is the status for the viewers' benefit where we are today?
No. See, they are refusing to give it to us, and they say that this is national security and so on. Now the court has to say this is not national security. I mean, the other side knows everything about it. National security is if you don't want your enemy to know something that you know. You see. But to say that, you know, how much land the Chinese have occupied of your country is national security, that's rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the Chinese already are in occupation. It's the Indian people who have to be told what it is and how we should prepare against it.
अरविंद जी, आप कुछ सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं?
Dr. Swamy, the India's Chinese policy
Yes.
is not only the occupation of land that they have been hiding and all that, and you have been asking questions in Rajya Sabha, the answer was
Yes.
denied. Then you went to RTI, the answer was denied. Even in the
Yes.
court, they are playing hide and seek. That means they have something to hide,
Yes.
basically. And
Yes.
about our today's title also says, has Modi failed to protect India's national interest?
Yes.
And they say in the Rajya Sabha that your question cannot be answered in the national interest. Now,
Yeah.
some 3-4 years back, to show a little anger to the Chinese, government of India had banned some 80 odd apps on social media, including
Mhm.
TikTok and others.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Dr. Swamy, today Prime Minister inaugurated the regional rapid transport system in Delhi, which
Yes.
connects NCR to Delhi. Now, 5.6 kilometers underground part of that is built by Chinese company called
Yes.
Shanghai Tunnel Engineering Company.
Yeah.
Despite all that, we are
Yes.
giving projects to China, and these are sensitive projects.
Yes. Right.
Underground railway project which has been completed by
Yeah.
China and inaugurated by Prime Minister. So
Yeah.
the blow hot, blow cold kind of policy is not easily understood.
No, it's not a blow. I will tell you very frankly that as Chief Minister of Gujarat, Modi has already been made complicit by the Chinese, and he went 10 times as a Chief Minister to China. He doesn't know a word of Chinese. He doesn't know a word about China. Why is he going there? And it's China is a very boring place if you are not a specialist in China. You see, so he went there, and who was who was the Indian ambassador then? It was this fellow Jaishankar. And what did these two do to kill time? They had lots of social activities, of which I've come to know some of it. I had many students in Harvard who were Chinese, who came from high society in China, and they won't tell me all the secrets which they know now that they are in government officials. But they make jokes, and those jokes are enough indication that these people went to China not to learn anything, not to learn about Chinese economy, nothing. They went for certain other purposes, which is unbecoming of an Indian leader.
So Dr. Swamy, even in a recent news item, it got revealed that the China Central Bank owns about 40,000 crores worth of portfolio in India. I mean, we are allowing this to happen from all sides, just not for the border, through the economy, what not.
Yes.
The center is busy, Modi is busy spending money on giving diamond to the First Lady of America, and giving money to this country and that country, to Maldives some $1 billion, giving rice and money to Bangladesh, who are just massacring Hindus there.
Right.
It is a complete breakup, and the facade. Modi seems to be more and more interested only to get the Nobel Prize, or what I don't know what he's looking to do.
He can't get
completely disregarded India.
He will not get a Nobel Prize by these methods. He's a fool if somebody has told him that. He should know it by himself, but if somebody has advised him and he has fallen for it, that's even worse. So I would say the fact of the matter is that he is complicit, and therefore he can't say no to the Chinese anymore. I don't think you can go to battle with China with Modi as Prime Minister.
अरविंद जी, आप कुछ हिंदी में कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि अभी बहुत सारे दर्शक हैं उसमें?
नहीं, जब हम इंटरनल प्रोजेक्ट पीस की बात करते हैं, हम एक्सटर्नल तो डॉक्टर स्वामी ने बहुत बताया, आपने भी मणिपुर का जिक्र किया, But there is another angle in India. जब इलेक्शन आते हैं तो बांग्लादेशी रिफ्यूजीज की भारत सरकार को याद आती है। अभी दिल्ली में इलेक्शन है और आम आदमी पार्टी ने सवाल उठाया कि बांग्लादेशी और रोहिंग्यास को दिल्ली में भाजपा ने बसाया है, तो इन्होंने 2 महीने पहले जांच शुरू की। Now every day they find one person. Yesterday it was a big TV news, one illegal Bangladeshi person caught and deported. And then I looked at the data. In last 2 months, some 1,500 odd inquiries have been made, investigations have been made. Out of this, 15 to 20 people only they have identified in Delhi who are illegal Bangladeshis. Now it is such a serious issue. It started from Assam, we all know it. But the way this internal threat has taken place, Modi government doesn't appear to be serious about it. And if they were serious, they'll not play this game of finding one person and publicizing it on national media that one person was caught and deported and 2 persons were caught and deported. And in 2 months' time, only 15 to 20 people have been deported. So they are not serious about these threats.
No, you go to the Gujarat docks of the ships and so on, you will find the Chinese in large numbers there. And you know who's that plutocrat businessman who is hiring them. You should ask him who gave you permission, because he doesn't need permission. So he's done that. There's so much. I mean, we are more like Shanghai Sheikh's China today, you see. And Mao Zedong had an easy takeover of China only because of the lifestyle of Shanghai Sheikh, you see. So we can't tolerate this. Otherwise, all this freedom that we won from the British will all go down, and now soon, the Chinese will take over key positions, and then after that, the collapse will start.
So, Dr. Swamy now brings us to the third topic that we have today, Manipur. Fresh violence has erupted. The Kuki militants are firing at the Indian army. I mean, there's complete chaos out there. It's a BJP government as well. Nothing is, they don't seem to get this thing under control. So the first step, Dr. Swamy, what do we do to get this thing under control? Then obviously the incompetence of this, let's say, be the state of the central government, because at the end of the day, the home minister is responsible also in a way, and make sure that he coordinates with the state and make sure these things don't, because when you say militancy, it becomes a national issue. It's not only a state level issue.
Yeah. See, first of all, you have an army not to play ping pong, you see. They are there that when you feel that something is getting out of your hand, the civilian authorities cannot manage the law and order, that is the time you have to bring in the army. And army has to then select those people who are actually doing the weapon, bringing the weapons from the Chinese. Most of it has been come via Burma, and that is Myanmar. And the Chinese have used that route. So these people are coming and terrifying the people. And the people naturally will crumble or get shot. So many civilians have been killed by these people. And it's not the whole of that state. They are Métis who are Pakka Hindus, who hold, have beautiful, displays of all these things that we celebrate in Diwali and in other festivals. They consider themselves Hindus. And the others have been, originally, the Christians got in there. And now, I don't know what religion they are having, but they are hostile to us because and they are only killing people who are Hindus. They are not killing anybody else. They are not killing anybody from their caste areas. So I think we should have been very tough. You should have taken over this, including Nagaland, we should have taken over and central rule should have been appointed, and military men should have been put as governors to manage it. But here they have no interest at most. And if Mr. Amit Shah goes there, he doesn't go into the depth of this problem. He goes there in the capital city and then comes back. He comes by a government plane and then goes back by government plane within 3 hours.
Sorry, Dr. Swamy. In pretty much in line with that, Dr. Swamy, what's happening even with Bangladesh? I mean, again, this government has failed. I mean, in Bangladesh, Hindus are getting persecuted, prosecuted, killed, murdered, and all sorts of atrocities have been happening. But now they suddenly say, can you give us 40,000 tons of rice? And government is saying, okay, I mean, where is this? Is there no shame left with India, Dr. Swamy, that our enemies continues to abuse us, and when they want help, you just go out there and give that? And what is the end game here, Doctor? I mean, what is he trying to achieve?
Well, see, this is a cancer that has come from the day Modi became Prime Minister. All the experienced, able people were shunted here, either not taken into the cabinet, or they were reduced to zeros. A threat that, if you don't comply, you go out. So what we have is all Lalupanjus in the cabinet of our country today, who have no guts to take a stand. And the two or three people who have a very good name, they can't do very much, because the moment they open their mouths, everybody else bounces on them in the cabinet. So we have begun by this, by emasculating, just making them completely without any room to maneuver. All these people who had able, or they kept them out of the government completely. And you don't have a party which has been elected. The elections have not taken place. Recently, they decided, after great pressure from people like me, to have a membership drive. They had a membership drive, and then after that they called for elections, but no elections are taking place, because I was one of the people who filed my nomination, saying that I would like to participate. I didn't say what participate in what, but there are many others. We all got together. We're being kept out. We wanted to contest the election, so there no elections are taking place now. So we are in a situation where a small cartel, is running the country and running the party, and we can't open our mouth. You see, I'm attacked every day by a group set up by Mr. Amit Shah, and they call themselves some thing. I don't know what they.
IT cell, Dr. Swamy.
Lunatic asylum cell. So this cell does nothing but badmouth me and badmouth others who speak up. Some have dropped out. You see, they can't bear it. I know very good ministers who have been dropped. I don't want to take their name. I don't want them to get into trouble. But you can know, if you look at the old list and the new list, who has been dropped. And they were very good. And because they were shining, they had to go. Look at the hell that some of the important ministers have got. They've been sidelined. They've not, that in the case of Gadkari, when he built a road, Modi didn't allow him to come along with him in the car. He went alone, and he was waving out to a crowd which was not there. So this is the kind of thing. But Gadkari has borne it, like in stoic terms. But that's not going to solve the problem. The problem is the people who can matter, who can make a lot of difference, especially since we are losing votes in a large measure, and now we have come down to less than majority. We are only 240 as compared to 300 earlier, 306 or something earlier. So all these put together, we either, if you tolerate this anymore, you are committing suicide. And if you fight, some may have to die, but the others will keep the name of the party alive and make it into a greater party.
Yeah, Dr. Swamy, you have said it earlier also that there is no internal democracy in BJP.
Yeah.
Whether it is a parliamentary party or it is national executive or elections for the state president or something, everybody in last 10 years has been nominated. And this nomination takes place from one central place in Delhi, and one person decides who will head state and who will be part of the national executive. I mean, there are many people, including you, were dropped from national executive. I mean, there's so much and incompetence. They can't tolerate competent people, and that is why the party is going the way it is going, and nobody cares about it, because the my way or highway, that is the principle.
That's right. That's right.
I think it more stems from the way that others have also buckled. No, everybody, Dr. Swamy, initially we said, everybody is afraid to raise a voice against Narendra Modi. The only person who's raising the voice is Dr. Swamy. I mean, they're all afraid of what happens to me, my ED raid or CBI raid or some nonsense or the other is being. Forget about the own BJP party members or BJP people. Even the opposition is tongue-tied and they're afraid, what will happen to me tomorrow? EB raid or R raid happens. If you unfortunately, we have democratically elected a despot. India has elected a democratically elected despot. So he's just using that power that he has to do it. And does what in effect, Arvindji, India is crumbling because be it economy, there's one question that came, even though it's slightly off topic, Dr. Swamy. I'm just saying, economy-wise too, we have a finance minister who's not even worthy to be elected to be one, just following somebody else's orders. Highly unpopular, extremely unpopular, making some really ridiculous and stupid statements in the media, and just gets away with it because the media doesn't want to ask those questions. Conveniently, the only people asking those questions are on social media. People are desperate, and people, they are impacted on a day-to-day basis. They have no sense as to what's really going on. Leave alone, be it the border situation is a problem, economy is a problem. Everywhere you turn, this challenge. And Arvindji, Delhi a little bit more. Do you think this will get reflected? I know we are going totally off topic here. Will they have an impact on Delhi elections?
No, I think Ramesh, you made a very important
also
point.
Can definitely, better, because
last 10 years, infiltration is taking place in the party. I mean, half of the people who are managing the key positions, whether in the party or in the government, are people who are imported from other parties. Today, BJP has declared a list of 29 names for the Delhi Assembly elections. Out of which 7 people are those who joined BJP from other parties in last 1 month. Even the former president of the Delhi Pradesh Congress, he has been declared a candidate. The 2 ministers who resigned from Kejriwal government last month, they have been given seats from Delhi Assembly. So BJP is no more the real BJP, and therefore these people can be managed. And those who are real BJP people are raising voice like Dr. Swamy.
Dr. Swamy, your thoughts?
Jansangh culture.
Your thoughts?
Jansangh culture have been ignored.
No, the issue is that Arvind that pointed out. If take somebody like Jethmalani or Arun Shourie, when they dissented, they did not criticize or go against or make fun of anybody. They dissented. They were without notice, without asking for an explanation. They were sacked. You see. Now, there are, of course, issues. It's not easy to sack some people. But those who are people who have intellectually contributed to the party and therefore don't have a base, they are under tremendous pressure because they get just thrown out and put aside. So when there is a parliament, if you look at the constitution of the BJP, it is a wonderful constitution for any political party. And even if you implement 1/3 of it, I'll tell you, many 90% of the workers will be satisfied. But none of it. In fact, nobody even knows that there is a constitution of the BJP. And the kinds of activities that go on in the party office in Delhi, I think brings shame to anybody. And so, to answer your question, it's really an issue of which comes first, the egg or the hen, you see. And you can't have the hen without the egg, and you can't have the egg without the hen. So we are in that kind of a situation.
To quick swearing up for the China issue, Dr. Swamy, what are the top 3 things India, I mean, at least if this government ever wakes up, what should be done, Dr. Swamy?
If you ever get a government which wakes up, you can put it that way. This government will not wake up. It cannot wake up because it is structured that way. People have been chosen that way. People who had never had a dream that they could become ministers, who have been picked up, you see. People have been taken from, look at the number of bureaucrats who are today cabinet ministers. None of them deserve to be, but they are there. So they are enjoying it. Ministers, all the facilities they get as a minister, they don't want to get into all this controversy. So let us assume that some event takes place which makes us redo it, like in 1962. For the first time, Nehru got a blast and he literally collapsed, and ultimately within a year he died. He was a broken man. The man who was called Krishna Menon, who was a man who because of Nehru could do anything, say anything, and run the Ministry of Defense in any way he wanted. He was on the street. And ultimately, the communists picked him up and gave him a term in parliament. So this is the way only this is going to happen. We have to weed out a whole lot of people. And there is a machinery which can do it, and that is RSS. But the RSS has a very good point. They say we created a political party called Jansan because no one was speaking up for us in parliament when we are being attacked every day. The RSS was being held for murder of Mahatma Gandhi, this thing, that thing, any lies they could think of. But there was nobody in the parliament who would stand up and support them or ask for the evidence or something like that. So that's why they created Jansan. But Jansan can't, Jansan grew big. And now what is happening is people are asking the RSS to take over the BJP, which RSS knows that means that their system of functioning will be completely smashed. The procedures they follow will be completely smashed if they took over the responsibility of running the BJP. So this has to come either by RSS sending some people, cutting their connections with RSS and sending them to the BJP, or they should get people, RSS, to put pressure, or if they can, they may not be able to get it done, but they should be able to get more people from the society who are people who will stand up and fight for not only for the party but the ideology of the party. We can't. We are not. It's not a question that BJP should be transformed into some kind of a democratic party which has no concern with its ideology. Then we will be no different from any other party, and by that it will get withered away. So these are the balancing facts which we have to go. But then you have to sit down and decide this.
Dr. Swamy, what does China respect? So let's say, for example, if you want to have, do you think China would respond to negotiations, or do you think that we should take military action and just push them back? So what do they? How can?
Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Sorry, interrupted. I know the Chinese enough to know that in such a situation, they will never negotiate. We have had some talks, and what happened after that? They moved forward. The first letdown was Narasimha Rao had got a line drawn of division, in which he said that you will be on the other side of the line that you claim, and we'll be on the other side, and there will be a in between piece which is to be decided how it should be cut up and distributed between the two of us. So that was going to take a very long time. Narasimha Rao himself told me it will take a very long time. So at the moment, let things cool down, and this is the method of cooling down. What we must understand is China has slowly, step by step, moved forward. They have assessed that the leadership of India is a bunch of sissies. They will not be able to stand up. And so all they are doing is getting sure that they are building houses and having people, their soldiers, stay. And they have laughed. They must have laughed and laughed and laughed when they heard that India has put a ban on any news coming from Ladakh. And when Modi said "Koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi," there was the maximum, derision that came was from China. And they enjoyed it. They said, well, we got what we've done. And slowly they have now come to a situation where Arunachal is now more or less taken care of, and they are moving into Ladakh. And Ladakh, they will go from there, they will go to Kashmir.
Arvindji?
Yeah, I think it's time to
Manipur, Arvindji, just one part. So, Dr. Swamy, what about Manipur, Dr. Swamy? Where are we? I mean, the situation is getting worse by the day. So, what is the best way to handle it?
Manipur is a division between a non-Hindu group and the Hindus. And there is no, at the stage we have reached now, there is no scope for discussion. We have to use a method by which the thugs who lead their masses, they are eliminated, and which means to use the military with a free hand, and no use thinking of all these arguments of sitting down and talking with them and so on. That's all over, too late now. We have to make sure that the Meitei crowd population is satisfied that they are going to be protected by the rest of India, and the people who, and that's the easy part is that the people who are really doing all the killing and murdering, they are in a special, exclusive geographical area, and so it's very easy to finish them off. And therefore, you should put it in. Will the Chinese intervene? Welcome, Mr. With the Chinese, they will get a bashing, which we can't give them anywhere else, because for them to come down the train, the hills, and then come up and climb up to our hills, they will get a thrashing over their lifetime. So I don't think the Chinese will do anything more than send more weapons, and that's not good enough. if the Indians, we have a army of about 1 million people, so send about 200,000 of them with the Air Force and from the ocean, from the Indian Ocean side, send enough ships, battleships, which can shoot for a long distance. And so we have to make the choice very clear. You support the militants, you are dead. If you support us, we will fight for you. That kind of a message should come clearly.
Arvindji.
Yeah, so now it's time for us to wind up this discussion on whether Modi has failed to protect India's national interest. Well, the answer is yes, whether it is internal or external. And before we wind up, let us also review the kind of situation 6 months after Modi has come back for third time. In the country, there is a middle class which is totally alienated, economy which is going down the drain continuously, the debt is rising, the FDI withdrawal continues day after day, the students' unrest continues. Look at what is happening in Bihar. People are brutally beaten with the lathis and other things, and students are on fast. And when I talk about fast, the farmers are on agitated mood in Punjab. There's one farmer leader who is on the fast for 41 days, and nothing is being taken care of or even taken note of. I mean, what is this government doing in terms of national interest as far as the internal things are concerned? I mean, when you think of the situation, it is really horrible, and it is very clear the situation is beyond management of this government, and therefore something drastic must happen. Some change must take place. Whether we talk about China, we talk about internally, we talk about Manipur, and when we talk about borders, I mean, our neighbors are not happy with us. Which are the neighbors which have good relations? Look at Bangladesh. And the government of India is not doing anything in Bangladesh, because in 1971, Bangladesh was created by India only. And instead of being grateful to India, they are butchering our part of our community, which is staying in Bangladesh, the Hindu community. And government of India is silent on this. So a lot of things are demanded from this government. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for bringing this topic once again. In fact, we were discussing it that we have been discussing too much international politics, but when we say it is not external but also internal, and there are a lot of internal issues, and therefore we must pay attention through this kind of discussion. We invite the attention of the government for what is happening and what should be done. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Thank you, Ramesh. Today, Jagdish could not join because of the weak internet connection. Thanks the technical team led by Ashish, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdat Shetty. We will continue to bring this to you, this kind of discussion in the next episode on Sunday again. Today we completed 255 episodes. Sunday, again, Indian Standard Time, 8 p.m. We'll meet with the next topic and Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.